every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You know, and like, you know, if I'm training that person, I can tell what's going on just by
Exactly.
looking at them anyway. You know, as their strength going up, is it
Don't
going
you
down?
love that? They hate it too. I love it. I have clients walk into the gym, they be doing workouts, I'm going, what did you eat yesterday? I had cakes.
Yeah.
They're gonna do 15 extra reps.
Exactly.
How did you know? I can see it on you.
Exactly.
You're holding a little bit of water, a little bit more water.
Right, right.
You either didn't drink enough or you ate something you wasn't supposed to.
I'm telling you, man. How many people are you had the pleasure of getting ready for a show this past year?
This past year,
Yeah.
not that many. Four.
Shoot, four is a lot to have to be over four
Well-
different personalities, four different diets. Because none of that stuff can be the same. It's
No, it's
all
all
custom
custom.
to each person. So that's a lot to juggle.
Yeah, it is a lot to know, but again, I'm used to coming from a studio where we had like 20, 25
Right,
guys.
right,
And
right.
it was kind of spread out between 3, 4 different trainers, but I'm used to looking at 20 different bodies
Right.
and getting them all ready for the show.
Mhm.
So coming down here, that was my goal for myself. And I want 25.
Yeah.
And I started with 1,
Mhm.
and then there were 3, and I have next year I'll have 6
Yeah.
people getting ready for the show.
Wow.
4 of them are here. 2 of them are out of state,
Mhm.
Florida, and a couple of them New England.
Okay.
So I do coach online.
Yeah.
Rapidly coaching online. We're helping online.
Good deal.
I try to expand
Yeah.
and diversify.
Hey, it is also a business.
It is right. It's also a business. It's how to make some money.
It's also a business. Okay, what are your pet peeves when it comes to bodybuilding first?
From other people,
For you, and
my personal pet peeve.
Yeah, your personal, and then we'll go into like your clients next. But for you, like, what do you hold yourself to? And you know, as far as like, and if it doesn't happen that way when you're getting ready, it really drives you up the wall.
I don't know. I don't think I have any.
None, huh?
No, I genuinely love this sport. So, and I don't have any false hopes or expectations. Like I'm a realist, so I can understand that. Like we were saying earlier, like it's all about who shows up.
Yeah.
I know that this is going to be the best package that I brought to the stage ever,
Mhm.
and I'm happy with that. I also know that I've been to several shows this year so far, and I've seen the guys that have shown up,
Yeah.
and I would better than them.
Hey,
So I'm confident that I would do well,
Right.
but I'm not going to be devastated if I don't win,
I got you.
because I know the reality of the situation.
Mhm.
I think my own personal pet peeve, if I had any, would just be people who don't take the sport seriously
Mhm.
and approach me about advice or questions.
Wasting
or
your time.
Yeah, exactly. When you just have that feeling that how they ask the question and how they approach you, that they're not going to do anything with the advice,
Right.
or they just, again, they're in it for the quick fix, they're not in it for the long-term haul. And I understand that not everybody can be as enthusiastic about bodybuilding as I am,
Right.
but this is not a sport where you can just prep for 3 months and then expect to get a pro card.
Wow.
It's very rare that it happens.
Yeah. No.
The bikini girls, it might happen because they don't have to be as muscular and as shredded to be on stage.
Right.
So the prep work isn't as intense. But on the male side, especially on the male side, it usually just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the only thing that really irks me. That's directly related to me.
Mhm.
But on the client side,
And client side, yes. Let's go on the list.
no, on the client side is clients who aren't honest.
Mhm.
I'm not a mean guy. I'm understanding. I
Yeah.
understand that life happens and things happen. If you're messing up on your food, just tell me.
Yeah.
As a prep coach, when you're writing a meal plan for somebody, you put a lot of effort.
It's
into
time
making
consuming.
sure
It's very
to
time
make sure
consuming.
that every macro is on point,
Yeah.
so that they can achieve their certain look. And if you're going out eating cheeseburgers and drinking beers, and then you're supposed to check in and you're 5, 10 pounds overweight, and you're like, I don't know what happened. I've been doing everything right.
Yeah, right, right.
But now we're going back and looking at ourselves and what we've been doing,
Yeah.
and thinking, man, I just got to lose weight. I can't even still lose weight. Maybe if I do this, you start tweaking stuff and messing with your metabolism,
Mhm.
when all the while, if you messing up on your end,
Wasn't doing the right thing.
exactly. So now we're gonna mess you up even more. You're not gonna be happy with where you look, and you're gonna blame me because you were messing up and I
Right.
changed it for you.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna get a prep coach and decide to do a show, or if not you're doing a show and you just get a personal trainer or nutritionist to help you, just be honest with them. One, it's going to help you in the long run achieve what you're actually setting out to achieve. But two, having that honesty with yourself is going to allow you to grow mentally.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you go to change something about your lifestyle, about your life, and you keep telling yourself that little lie, whatever might happen to you, I'll do it tomorrow.
Right.
I can have this, it'll be fine.
Right.
I can go with my people, or if you keep telling yourself those little lies, and next thing you know, 5 months down the road, a year down the road, you're in the same place or worse off than when you have been.
Right.
And that can happen with anything, not just fitness. But having the mental fortitude to be honest with yourself will help you so much in the long run.
Yeah.
So this honest clients is a big one.
And well, yeah, that pretty much covers, you know, the whole thing, man. 'Cause like you say, I used to, when I was certified the personal trainer, I'm not anymore. And you know, just like you say, when someone comes to you and it's, oh man, I'm ready for a meal plan.
Yeah.
So the first thing I do is I kind of interview them. I say, okay, what are your eating habits? Like, you know, what are your cravings? You know, you're a chocolate person.
Yeah.
You're a beer, you know, and so I need to know all this stuff, you know. And I'm like, so are you a late night snacker? You know, you this or you that? And then I start to tailor the plan because I slowly pull that stuff away from them.
Yeah.
You know, because you can't pull that stuff away from somebody just like that. They'll go in the
Just
shop.
happen,
Yeah, and go right back. So,
Yep.
so I take all this time and get them to this point, and then they mess it all up. You know, I'm just like, you know how much time I spent looking up stuff and this and that. I was like, you know, so it got to the point where I started writing meal plans for people. I said no. I said I'm out, man. I'm done. I'm done. It was just, it got bad.
Yeah, you get burnt out.
Yeah, you do, man. And it definitely happened to me. So I was like, okay, enough is enough. What advice do you give people that come to you and say, hey, I want to be a competitor, whatever the class is, and you know, you see them, they've never done anything before, you know, but they say, hey, where do I need to start?
That was the food. Always the food.
Mm-hmm.
I always ask them, all right, well, what are you eating now?
Mm-hmm.
And they tell me, all right, I want you to start eating 5 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get comfortable eating 5 times a day, I want you to start measuring what you're eating 5 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
If you're comfortable doing that, all right, let's talk about doing a show.
Wow.
If they can do it on their own, and they can see what they're eating, and they get comfortable doing it, it becomes a habit for them.
Right.
It's not so shocking of an experience to transfer into doing a show.
Right.
And then after that, once you get used to measuring your food and eating so often and doing the workarounds of work and friends and family and all that stuff and still getting all your meals in and your workouts in, everything else is cake. That's pretty much all bodybuilding is.
Yeah.
Figuring out how to work out all that little stuff, the intricate stuff, the stuff that's really important to achieve that physique that you're looking for in your lifestyle. Personally, I wrap my lifestyle around bodybuilding. I did it the inverse way.
I got you.
So I poured myself into the gym, started working in the gym just so I could be around it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That way I wouldn't have to sacrifice so much to be in this life.
Right.
And the end result of that is, I guess I don't really have that much of a life anymore. You know, I go out when I can, and I actually started bouncing, doing security work downtown,
Yeah.
just to feel like I still
Right.
got this now,
Right.
without having to drink and spend all this money, because that doesn't make any sense to me. A lot of people go out and spend $200-300 a night.
And one night,
And
gone.
one night,
Yeah.
just to have a night that you're not even gonna remember. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
So I started doing security, and it was like I was hanging out with everybody,
Mhm.
but not drunk, not spending any money. I'm actually making money doing it.
Right.
So that was like a win-win for me.
Good deal.
But yeah, just involving myself in that lifestyle just helps. So if you can kind of immerse yourself in the lifestyle before you actually get into it,
Yeah.
that will make the transition much easier.
Right.
The workouts, you usually don't have to change them too much if you've been working out already for a while.
Mhm.
You might tweak some stuff, but throw some stuff in, and
Yeah.
teach people how to isolate certain muscle groups
Right.
if they need work on certain things.
Right.
But for the most part, it's all about teaching people how to be nutritionally sound
Mhm.
and how to work out, getting all their meals in around their lifestyle.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, man, just, I wish I could, have reached out to more people, who wanted to do a show,
Yeah.
but just didn't know how to get started.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one of those things, man, like, I remember when, if I'm getting ready for a show, I would go in the high. Like,
Yeah.
I would all big clothes and everything, and then usually 2 weeks out from the show, I would start letting people see a little bit of what's gonna happen in 2 weeks or a week from now.
Yeah.
So I say I went in Walmart, and you start getting the looks and the stares,
Yeah.
like, what's going on here? And, I had a couple of kids, I say kids, they had to be in their late teens. I said, man, where do you work out at, man? Like, what do you do? And I'm explaining to them and, trying to get them to come to the gym. Because I could tell they had the genetics to do it. They just didn't have any idea how to get started. They was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
What do I eat? What do I need to train? This and that. And so I wish I could, and I still can, just help more people. Like I say, you want to be a helper. And just help people achieve whatever that level of success they want to achieve in this lifestyle.
Right.
And sometimes people don't want to get on stage.
Right.
They just want to look better for their own self-esteem. Just their own thing, and that's awesome too. Like you said, the young lady that came back to you.
Yeah.
Who made that change? That's just it's always mind blowing to see that and to know you had a hand in that.
Yeah.
It's something special. And for people who haven't experienced, then it has got to be fitness, whatever knowledge you have that you can pass on to somebody else that improves their life, and they come back and share that story with you, like that's some.
It makes it all worth it.
It's like a powerful drug.
Yeah, it makes it all worth it. It makes me want to continue to help people.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I actually get a lot of people that reach out and they say, I don't want to do a show, but I want to prep like I'm doing a show. And my response to them is always, it's not going to work. Because if you don't have an end goal in mind,
Right.
you don't have an end date, a date where you're going to say, all right, by October 17th, I have to be this weight, this leanness, so I can get on stage and be judged by a panel of people.
Right.
You're always going to push stuff off to the time. You need a date. Whether it be a birthday, a vacation, a wedding, an anniversary, something, you need a date.
Yes.
That's going to say, all right, I can't mess up because I only have X amount of time to be prepared for the stage. So, even if they choose their own birthday is usually a good one. Instead of just an arbitrary date, I make them choose something because otherwise they're going to fall off.
Right.
It's rare for people to want it, really want it, and have a big enough life for them to stop doing all the stuff that society says this is what they should be doing.
Right.
And step outside of that and do this other thing so they can be successful.
Yeah.
So when they have a date, it usually gives them a big enough life. Like, all right, now I'm going to focus on it.
Right. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I mean, like I said, the 2 biggest ones I've seen is the birthday and a wedding.
Yeah.
And it might not even be their wedding. It could be
Exactly.
it's my brother's wedding, it's my friend's wedding, it's my sister's wedding. I just want to look good in the tux.
Yeah.
I want to look good at the reception and whatnot. So I'm just like, yeah. So you got the date. Let's go from there.
Right.
Now, you said you're about 2 weeks out from the show.
Yes, sir.
2 weeks out from the show. So how has life changed? Because you're getting close to that. You're getting close to that death week where water cutting and all these other things come into play.
Boy, I've been in death month. You can ask my clients. Every time I go in, they're like, I can't make this. I am miserable, and this is probably the hardest prep that I've done. And like I said, I've been competing for about 8-9 years now.
Yeah.
And this is by far the hardest prep that I've ever done in terms of the toll that it's taking on my body and the mental toughness I have to just keep pushing and not eat the stuff I'm not supposed to.
Right.
When I tell you the hunger is real, it's different when you're just trying to restrict yourself and eat healthy and stuff like that because if you ate something you're not supposed to, you're like, it's okay, I can eat it.
Right.
And then everything's kind of normal.
Right.
But when you have told yourself over and over again, this is all you can eat and that's it, there's nothing else.
Right.
It's a different kind of torture because there's food everywhere.
Yep.
And if you're watching TV or movies,
gosh, that was the worst.
Everywhere.
That was the
Everybody's
worst.
always eating all the time.
But you know the thing I found? Anytime I was getting ready for a show, the last show I did was in 2018. Everybody had a special on pizza.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Domino's just came out with 2 bacon pizzas, a bacon cheeseburger pizza and a taco pizza. Those are 2 of my favorite things in life. On the 3rd favorite thing that I love.
It's crazy. I'm just like, where was all these specials when
Exactly.
I could kind of eat whatever I wanted?
And then you go to the grocery store and you start seeing stuff that you've never seen before. They
Yeah.
got all these crazy cereals coming out.
Dude,
It's
let me
so
tell you.
weird.
Let me tell you. I was so bad when I was younger, when I was competing in my 20s. Like a week before the show, I would actually go and buy junk food and put it in my closet just to eat. When the
I got a closet full of Scooby snack, fruit snacks right now that I just found on Amazon for $5. It was a 30-pack for $5. I'm telling you, they're not gonna last 2 hours.
I mean, but it was pretty like, why am I hoarding food in my closet? But that's what it does to you, like you said.
Yeah.
You know,
You're in that mindset.
you're in that mindset. Okay, I can't mess this up. But then like I said, okay, I'm just buy this now, and boy, when this show over.
I went into Costco the other day. I kid you not. My girlfriend and I went into Costco, and she said, "What do we need?" I said, "I don't need anything. I just want to take pictures of the food that I'm going to buy before the show is over, so I can come in and not waste no time." I got all the pictures in my phone. I'm ready to go.
I've never heard that. I don't think I've ever come across somebody said that they took pictures of the food. Okay, that's a new one.
I'm telling you, it's madness.
Wow, man. How has prepping for the show during this pandemic?
Fortunately, it hasn't been too bad.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to have a facility that I could work out in throughout the pandemic.
Wow.
So I was able to not work out as often as I normally do, but I was able to get to the gym 2-3 times a week, instead of 5.
That's good though.
So I was able to maintain a good amount of my size coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Fortunately, my gym, Crunch Fitness, they opened early May. So, I mean, it was 3 months almost without the gym being open, but we were one of the first gyms to open. South Carolina was one of the first states to kind of open back up.
Yes, yes.
So, coming out was not as much of a setback as I thought it would be. And I was able to actually hit it full speed and having not missed a step. I don't think I lost any weight throughout the pandemic.
That's awesome.
Loving around 240 the entire time.
I remember just looking on social media, bodybuilders working out in garages, and, especially up north, because everything was shut down up north, and everything was shut down on the west coast. And bodybuilders working out in personal friends' garages, and I said, man, I can't imagine,
These big dudes with bands.
Yeah, right.
No,
Exactly. I mean, because when they closed the gyms and when they first opened them, I had to be one of the first people, like just looking like a homeless person in the window, wait for them to open the door, like, come on, let's go. I mean, even I wasn't even ready for a show, but just missing that consistency of, working out. I got bands here, and I got a good friend of mine that lives not too far away, and they had some stuff in their garage, so tinker around, but it's not the same.
It's not.
Yeah, so
The atmosphere is the same. It's not the same.
But hey, I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah.
This was like the Book of Eli, Jim Bird. Just making the best of whatever was in my environment, man.
Yeah.
Like I was a few days away from going to chop down a tree and just start busting up wood in the backyard. Like, man, let me just take this thing back to the old school way of doing stuff, man. Training like you watch those Rocky movies.
Yeah.
He never trained in the gym. He was always outside or just somewhere in the mountains training for a fight. While Drago was in the state of the art place training and whatnot, man. So, but you do what you got to do. The state of bodybuilding overall, like what's your take on it? Like how's it since you first got into it? And to now, like, how's it changed? Has it changed for the better? Has it changed for the worse, in your opinion?
I think aspects of it have changed for the better.
Okay.
Especially since they have introduced the classic physique division. And I don't say that because it's the division that I'm competing in, but I say that because the tradition of bodybuilding has kind of been lost with the introduction of the mass monsters and these giant dudes who still look phenomenal. Yeah, they do look really, really good, but the proportion is gone, the symmetry is gone, and it's just about how big you can be and still be, kind of conditioned. Right. And so once they brought in the classic physique division, which is in between physique, which is the board shorts, and the bodybuilders, which is, or open bodybuilders, which is the big guys, classic physique is different because you have a weight restriction to how tall you can be. Yes. So myself being 5'9", I have to be on stage at 197 or 200.
Okay.
So when I first started coming for the show, and I told my coach, I'm 240. He's like, we got a lot of weight to lift.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of body fat, so we're gonna see how it goes.
Right.
But so I had to drop, 43 pounds almost
Yeah.
to get ready for the show.
Yeah.
But the reason they do that is to maintain the proportion
Yes.
from top to bottom, so you don't look out of control, crazy wide or crazy big, and
Right.
look like this freak of nature. It's still very aesthetic, it's very
Yeah.
pleasing to the eye. It's a more achievable look
Yeah.
than the traditional open bodybuilding category.
Right.
Now, I think the negative side or a negative direction that bodybuilding has gone in, and is more towards the bikini side.
Mm-hmm.
The bikini division has become so big that you can almost see that they're just trying to milk it for as much money as possible.
Oh, yeah.
And it used to be you go to a show, and this is a very recent change, probably in the last few years or so, that you would go to a show and the order of events was bikini, figure, women's physique, women's bodybuilding when they had it, men's physique, men's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding was always the biggest attraction of the show, so they put it last because people would buy tickets to the show, and then have to stay for the entire show to see the bodybuilders.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Now, when you go to a show, bodybuilders are usually second or third place people
Fast.
on stage.
Yep.
We're in and out.
Yep.
They do men's physique, they do men's bodybuilding, and then it's all women.
Yeah.
Because there are more women competing
It's a
now.
ton of women can do a ton of them.
There are more women competing now, and they're a bigger draw for the audience. So they put them last in the show, which is fine. It's great for the sport. I'm happy to see all these women competing,
Right.
but it's becoming more of a fad
Mm-hmm.
than it is a sport.
Yeah.
And I think that the judges are just, not the judges, I think a lot of the promoters are just trying to get as much money as they can out of people.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell because they're introducing a lot of new divisions, like
Yeah, there's a ton. I've actually lost track of all the
yeah, there's a
divisions.
lot. Well, now the wellness division that just came in is actually really neat.
Okay.
Because, it's a women's division, and it's for women who have really muscular legs
Mhm.
and smaller upper bodies.
Ah.
There's a lot of women out there who are shaped like that,
Yes.
and they're trying to get into bikini, or they're trying to get into figure, which is a more muscular division, and they're having a hard time finding their way into either one because they can't lose size in their legs,
Yeah.
or they have a really hard time growing their upper body to get the proportions correct for that figure division.
Right.
So this is a really nice in between, just like the classic physique division
Yeah.
for women
Mhm.
who want to do kind of bikini style poses, but have really nice muscular bigger legs.
Yeah.
I think that's a great addition. But they have some that are, I don't know the name off the top of my head, but it's more like a transformation division,
Yeah.
where like if you lost a ton of weight,
Oh,
or,
okay.
you overcame a sickness or something like that,
Mm.
which is awesome, good story. It just kind of takes away from the sport of bodybuilding.
Yeah, it does. It
Um,
does.
More power to you to tell your story and to have your stage time, like that's awesome. I'm not trying to take that away from you,
Mhm.
but the actual essence of what bodybuilding is, it just doesn't seem to quite fit. It just
Right.
seems like an extra added piece that they're just trying to get more money on. Because when you do a show, you can sign up for multiple categories. You can do
Yep.
women's bikini, you can do women's, as a female, you can do women's bikini, you can do figure, you can do physique, you can do bodybuilding, you can do all four if you want.
And if you're a certain age, you can double dip
Exactly.
into the masters.
Grandmaster.
Which I'm looking forward to that. If I get back on stage, I'm like, we go open and man, I'm getting a trophy out of somebody.
Yeah, I'm going to try everywhere. I'm coming home with something.
With something.
And the catch is, let's say you pay a $100 entry fee for the show, and then to get into, let's say you're doing bikini.
Right.
Let's say you're doing novice bikini, never competed before. Now you want to do the open bikini, you got to pay another $100 to get into the open bikini. Now if you want to do wellness, you got to pay another $100 to get into wellness, and another $100 to do open wellness.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how they start.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching,
That's
cha-ching.
all the money.
Yeah.
And they start adding on to the division. So I think that's the reason why I feel like bodybuilding is kind of getting away from the sport of bodybuilding.
Mm.
But I understand they got bills to pay. And
Yeah.
I just wish that all the money that's going into the sport
Mhm.
would kind of come back to the competitors a little bit more.
Right.
When you see the big IFBB pros and the big show, let's just talk about the Super Bowl of
Yeah.
bodybuilding. the
Love you.
Olympics.
Yes, sir.
When you see the cash prizes that they're giving out to
Huge.
Well, it's huge for the open bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
What did he win last year?